Okay, so let's continue. Another very characteristic or very typical situation you will encounter is something like this. Remember, we talk about 国家, which means nation or country, right? 国家. So 国家. So 家 we know already, right? So we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a 10, right? So that's 家. And war, remember war. We had our box, and then we finish whatever is inside, and then we actually close it. So what is inside? Is this 1, 2, 3, 4. We got this, and we close. So this is exactly what this is called. This is a nation, right, or country. This is a nation, right? So this is what I want to talk about, because this is also very often the case. Again, not 100%, but very often. And how we construct this? Well, we always go first for the horizontal, okay? Always, if you have a vertical and you have horizontal, I guess you go first for vertical, okay? So, sorry, for horizontal. You go horizontal. Then I have another one. Continue with the horizontal. And then, and this is very often the case, you don't do this. Now, you basically, you don't do this and then close. Don't do that. Basically what you do is when you have two, you close down and then now close with a base. In this particular case, we have this little dot right there. But my point for this one is this, okay? First, you have the choice between horizontal and vertical. You just go first with horizontal, then have another one horizontal, and then you go for the actual vertical, and then you close with the horizontal. Very often that's going to be the case, okay? There's another, let me see, there's an exception. I mean, it's not an exception because it's a different thing. So Shang, right? Like in Shanghai. How you write this? Okay, so it's like this: 1, 2, and 3. So you have 3 strokes, right? Shanghai. Shanghai is this is Shanghai, right? Shanghai, right? It's like above, right? The ocean, right? This means oceans, and this is above. High, Shang means above, so it's something like that, above the ocean or something like that. So you would say, oh, okay, here I have a horizontal, so I should start like this, then vertical, and then finish with a base. Well, I wouldn't do that, because in this case the horizontal is small, right? It's not so much dominant, okay? The horizontal, I mean, they are not equal. In this case, they're almost equal. So for that reason, you choose the horizontal to the vertical. But in this particular case, the horizontal is much more strong. So you should start with the strong, okay? So that's so what I'm trying to say is that these two they're not the same situation. I see it's a different situation, right? Okay. Another example that we already talked about. Jiajue, right? Which means festival, right? Jiajie, sorry. So that means festival. So that means festival. So we have this radical, and then we have something similar to war, right? Horizontal, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. Okay, and then we move to the second part, which is horizontal. It has two dots right there. This is a very, very common occurrence also. And then we have this. Okay. So again, here we can also extrapolate, right, and see this kind of guideline, right, getting effective again. So horizontal, vertical, and then finish with a base. And then right here in the bottom we have the same thing, horizontal, then vertical, and then finish with the same piece. Okay. Now, so radicals. Okay, let's talk a little bit about radicals. Now, let me give you an example here. Let's say the word America, right? Notice this thing, right? We have an A here, and then we have an A here. So in both cases, here we have an A in the beginning and A at the end. But in both cases, we write the letter the exact same way. It doesn't change, and that's the case with our system, right? Every single letter is written in the same way, no matter what. Now, radicals are very different from our letters, right? If anything, our letters can be somehow compared with strokes, right? Why I'm saying that, and this is my opinion, okay? This is not. This is just my opinion, because letters don't have any meaning, attached to it. Same thing as stroke. Okay, this has no meaning, doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. These things don't have any meaning, and the letter by itself also don't have any meaning. So I guess right there we have an actual, we can establish it somehow a parallel between them. Now, in the other hand, radicals, it's not like they have a meaning, but they carry with themselves clues about how a word, what word means, or how it will sound. Okay, very often, not all the time. Okay, like we see, for instance, in Shanghai, just a minute ago. Sorry, let's do this properly. This radical right here is a water radical. So if I don't know anything about this character at all, but I see somehow this piece right here, well, maybe I get an idea that this is somehow related with water. Okay, so remember, water was something like this. This is the Hansi for water, but when it turns into a radical, it changes shape. And that's going to be the case most of the time. Radicals will change. Like in this case, radically. You see, this and this don't have much in common, but they are. This means water, or carry somehow the idea of water. That's why, again, if you don't know anything about this character, well, by looking at this piece of the character, you will think, okay, this might have somehow something to do with water. Okay. So the first thing about about radicals is that they bring along some ideas about either the meaning of the whole character, like in this case, or somehow also about the way it's gonna sound. Okay, so that's the one thing. The other thing I wanted to mention about radicals is that radicals change shape. Okay, unlike letters in our alphabet, they change shape. Whatever they are, whatever the position they go within one character, they might change. Okay, so let's see it. Let's see how they can change. Let's take, for example, right? Let's take, for example, this radical, right? Let's take, for example, this. Okay, so okay, good. Let me close here. And let me leave you with this idea. Radicals will change depends on the position that occupied within the whole character.